Okay, let's see.
Oh.
Does Twitch accept our stream? Yes.
Okay.
Does YouTube accept our stream? Yes. Facebook wants more details.
Who's Twitch? I don't know. What?
Is
Facebook has accepted our stream. Beautiful.
Okay.
We're making progress.
all righty then.
We're very good looking.
Yeah, we're not a motley looking crew at all.
Unless I shave my goatee off, then I look like a gold fester.
Okay. All right. So whenever you're ready.
The only thing I have to do is adjust
Oh.
Greg's.
Okay. Time to get the rest of it into character.
There he is. Okay. Yeah.
There.
Okay. So.
Go. Ah, 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 ah. Yeah, what's up, boy? Where'd you go, Dad? I'm right here.
Tony. Yeah, Tony. Don't try not to raise your voice too much because actually, and I know you're an intellectual guy. You really are. And the thing is, you're hiding behind that voice. But I really am interested in your opinions more than your characters.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Yeah. Okie dokie. Hi, it's Paula. This is the Common Book Show. Today we're here with Greg and Richard and Tony, and James is on location somewhere eating his dinner. This is the Common Book Show. If I said that or not, I don't remember. I'm Paula. This is I was listening to this recording. It was a show about the ideas of Spinoza, and I listened to it 3 or 4 times because I found it fascinating. And I wanted to talk about some of the ideas on the show, but I felt it necessary to try to simplify them a little bit because even, it just, if I would have read it out the way it was said, I think it would have confused everyone. So this is the first idea I want to talk about is this idea, Spinoza had a belief in God, but not the God that we think of as a being outside of nature, outside of the universe. Spinoza believed that nature itself was God because everything's dependent on nature. Everything is dependent. I mean, the planets, everything is dependent on nature. And so therefore, because of that dependence, that was his idea of God, which I thought was cool. Pantheism, I suppose it is. But for the time, it was really an interesting idea.
Yeah, there's a line, if you need to remember what his concept of God was like. We are all attributes of God.
Yes, and so and the thing, well, I've got another part that talks about that, but so it says Spinoza believed that everything was interconnected, and that sum of interconnectedness equaled the idea of God. Nature is God because it is the controlling force. All right, so this expresses itself in human beings as follows: humans cannot exist without food. Food cannot exist without sunshine, water, and insects or wind to pollinate. Humans cannot exist without water. Water cannot exist without the clouds and rain. And the clouds cannot exist without the water on the earth to make the clouds. So everything is okay. So it goes on into infinity. And he calls nature the substance. There's only one substance, and that is nature. And then the only, okay, it doesn't need anything else in order to survive. Nature exists on its own, and it's the only substance. Okay, so modes exist, M-O-D-E-S. Modes exist under the substance, things like animals, plants, humans, but they are all dependent on the substance, which is nature or God. All the modes are connected to each other and therefore to nature or God. So, this is kind of this interconnectedness, and we all need each other. Everything is dependent on everything else. And this makes so much more sense than the idea of, white guy in the sky with white hair and possibly a son. That makes no sense anyway. So then I liked his idea. He says Spinoza believes that there are positives and negatives in nature, but that they are only positive or negative in relation to something else. So they don't contain, like, this cannot be positive or negative. It just exists. It's only in its relationship to something else that we can ascribe positivity or negativity to it. So part of the example was a hungry tiger walking down the street toward us is negative because he wants us for dinner. It's not a good thing. But however, a hungry tiger to a tiger spouse with young to feed sees that tiger as a positive because it means that food will be shared by the family unit. So nothing is positive or negative innately. So, and it says we as humans should should be drawn to the positives and repulse the negatives. Behaving in this way will ultimately increase our lifespan. If you run away from that tiger, you're going to live longer than if you allow him to eat you. Which is what all life is supposed to do. Everything that exists tries to exist for as long as it can. All right. So, that was just part of this presentation, and it made me interested. And then I get on these kicks where I actually want to get the actual words of the philosophers. Sometimes they're dense. They're so difficult to read, and it's so much better if you can get someone who can explain these things in a more accessible way. So I get this idea. Oh, I want to read Spinoza. Well, I was reading Kierkegaard, and guess what? It's not that easy. It's just not that easy. But I don't know. Do you have any feelings about this whole idea of his idea about God and nature?
It's as far as my own perspective.
Yeah. Well, sure.
It doesn't fit into the culture.
The culture of man now, is that what you're saying?
Of human beings.
It doesn't, but it's...
In other words, okay, so if God is everything,
right,
how does that affect your life?
Well, the thing is, he's saying that you don't really have free will. He's saying that everything is cause and effect. So therefore, you have will, and you can have freedom, but you don't have free will because everything is contingent on cause and effect. And if there's a cause and it's causing something to happen, that's not free will. So for him, he doesn't really care how it affects mankind, basically. The only thing he thinks that men can do is use their reason in order to create freedom by not being drawn around by their emotions. So, that's how I understand it, at least.
So the problem I have with Spinoza would be, I'll give you a parallel example. All right? Suppose somebody came up with a definition of a car that included gasoline-powered cars, electric cars, bicycle cars, any kind of car you could think of.
Yeah.
And his definition was so vast, right, that it encompassed everything.
Mm-hmm.
How would that affect our lives when I said to you, I bought a new car today?
Well, I'd have to ask you a lot of
Yeah,
questions.
you wouldn't know what I was talking about, right?
Yeah,
It was so vast. That's sort of like what pantheists do.
Yeah.
They make it so vast, you can't really talk about it.
Well, except that the way I understand it, in that everything is connected to everything else. I have a very strong belief that that there is only one us. It's everybody, like the people. But not only his idea is not only are we all connected as people, but we're all connected to everything on the earth, and everything that we're all our existence is contingent on the sun. Our existence is contingent on water and the elements. So that's the way I understand it. I'm not thinking that he's saying that this book is God. What I'm
Oh, it would definitely be.
but what
Because if it wasn't, there'd be something in the universe that wasn't.
well, right, but this book is contingent on all the factors that it took to create it. For instance, the tree that grew the paper, the sun that grew the tree, the water that watered the tree,
The dirt that nourished it.
Yeah, right. The ink, where I don't know where ink comes from. Do you know where ink comes from? Is it a pigment from a?
I believe
nature?
at least some of it is a derivative of various plants.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so everything about this book is connected. It doesn't mean it's God. It means that it's part of the big picture, which is God. That's how I think of it. So I know I when I always thought of pantheism the other way too, like this is God, this is God, this is God, but it's just part of God, So that's at least that's how I'm understanding it, and
So would you say God equals everything?
yes, everything because everything is nature. And you can't. There's nothing outside of nature.
Now, if you take the word pantheist
Uh huh.
and you add 2 letters to it, panentheist, you know what that means?
No.
God is, nature is contained in God, but God has one more quality that is outside of nature.
Oh, see, I wouldn't. That would not appeal to me. This appeals to me. That would not appeal to me because that would separate God from nature, and I don't have any interest in that.
God is the bigger thing, and nature is a part of God. But there's
No.
qualities
No,
outside.
no, I don't
So
like
you are
that
a
one.
true pantheist.
I don't like that one. But yeah, so I found this I think you would enjoy it if you listen to it. He's very interesting. This I don't remember what his name is. This guy, and he does a lot of these philosopher discussions, and he pulls in discussions from other people that are professors and other people who've written about that particular philosopher. So you're getting a lot of information in an hour. I think it's like an hour. But I found it fast. I listened to it at least 3 times, probably 4. And still, every time I hear it, I am hearing something new. And it's complicated. And so it takes me a while to absorb anything that's that complicated. I'm not the quickest to study. But I like it. I liked it a lot. And
Did they talk about the problems that he had with his community?
well, he was
Was he banished or something?
he was a Jew, and the Jews did not appreciate his idea of what God was, because the Jews believed that God was a separate thing. God created nature, right? So that's I don't know if he had to flee. He didn't give you every, intimate detail of his life. I mean, it probably would be worth it if I could find a good book about Spinoza that was written well. But he didn't. He did say that he was. I don't know. They don't excommunicate you when you're a Jew. I don't know what they do to you.
This is probably a case in point of why I've distanced myself from man-made religion. It just seems like so many disagreements, so many wars, so much hell has been wrought over difference of opinion and religion.
And it was the idea. And the other idea is man created God because there was a need. But if there was a creator God who created all of this the way it is, why would that person need us to worship him? That person or that entity need us to worship? I mean, it would probably be like a fart. Like, I farted out the earth with all its people and animals, and now I'm going on with my life, right? And I'm what's the word? Omnipresent, omniscient being wouldn't need to have us little worms on the ground worshiping it.
Nor do I really think that whatever position this being is in, either I don't believe that it cares a whole hell of a lot what happens to us, or it has a borderline criminally insane sense of humor and likes chess a lot. I seem to opt for the latter.
Yeah. Well, there used to be these, I don't know, James, did you ever go to the movies and watch those Hercules movies? I'm sure you did, because there were a lot of hot chicks in them.
Yes, I watched probably all the Hercules movies.
Yeah, right. So, I mean, when I was a kid, we used to go to Lovejoy Theater, and they had these Hercules movies. And in those movies, they would portray the gods on Mount Olympus. They'd have them, in this big fancy room, and they were all dressed like gods and stuff. And they had a pool of water where they could watch human beings, and they would play tricks on them. They would say, let's see what happens if we do this to that. Let's see what happens if we do this. Let's see how we can mess up their lives, and that's a really interesting idea about what God, if there was a God or gods, because of the way the world is, they would be really just nasty little bitches.
Yeah.
I think your picture has stopped, James. We only see
Yeah, how do you manage to do that dialogue with a pizza in your mouth?
Yeah,
you gotta teach me that.
I see your hand in front of your face, but I don't see anything else. Is there something you can do to fix that?
It's not the Zoom feed. It's
I don't know.
All right, hang on a second. We're gonna fix you. We're gonna fix you up.
As long as you're fixing things, Richard's mic isn't working either.
Wait, we're gonna get him fixed?
Rich, can you hear Richard? You're not hearing Richard, because I thought it was just my headset. Richard.
No,
Richard,
he's not coming.
I'll just have James
Yeah, James, you're going to look like that for the rest of the show. I'm sorry.
Well, I can do that. I can just knock
All right,
him out. Want
but-
to do that?
But James, we can still hear you because it was not a flattering shot of you, James.
It's you feeding your face. It froze on that.
Hey, at least he doesn't look like Donald Trump.
Yeah, but we can still hear you. We just can't see you, but that's okay because we know what you look like. Everyone, imagine James. Okay,
Yeah.
he's there.
My favorite concept of God is that God is really more like gravity than
Gravity.
anything. Yes,
Okay.
because
go ahead.
because if you hold something over a ledge, gravity is acting upon that and will pull it down if you let go.
Okay.
Same way, if you move in a certain direction, there are things that occur as you continue going in that direction. And you pick up speed and maybe things along the way, and your angle that you're going upon brings you further and further away from some things and closer to other things. And unless you change your angle, you're going to miss the mark. And in fact, the word that we translate as sin is actually an archery term, which means to miss the mark.
So, are you saying that we miss the mark? We miss the mark of what God is, or that God misses the mark of?
Just the fact that the things that we call sins are intellectually missing the mark for where you might have wanted to go.
Right. So,
or where
yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. I misunderstood you. I thought you said F-I-N instead of S-I-N. So I misheard you. So that's why I was confused. Okay. All right. That sounds interesting. Yeah, we missed the. You're underperforming.
Yeah.
Right. That's That's an interesting way of looking at it. All right. So, Richard, do you have something on your list?
Oh, I found out that Spinoza was attacked.
Oh, he was. I see. I didn't. I only know what I heard on the on this program that I was listening to. So he was he was attacked by the people that were.
Look at this. Now, this is not working. I don't believe this.
Tom, we need you now.
Due to certain technical difficulties, such as payola.
Unbelievable.
Oh well, we'll have to just get a description. He was attacked by the Jews, or he was attacked by other people in this town.
Okay, well, let's see. He was attacked on the steps of his synagogue by a guy wielding a knife
Wow.
who was shouting, "Heretic!" while attempting to stab him.
Yeah.
He was excommunicated from his Jewish community that he lived in
Yeah.
because he said that the Hebrew Bible was not authentic.
Oh, because he didn't believe. Well, because people believe that the book is written by God. Please, it's so. But don't forget, this was what was he living in the 18th century?
He was living in the 1600s.
Okay, so the 17th century. So the thing is, he was. People were still, they had their ideas were so different about religion, and they didn't have it was during the Enlightenment, right?
Yeah.
Or right prior to the Enlightenment. This was a whole different set of rules.
His books were added to the list of forbidden books. All right?
Yeah.
Because they contained many profane, blasphemous, and atheistic propositions.
Well,
You are not allowed to own, read, distribute, copy, or restate anything in his books.
woohoo! Well, I'm in trouble then.
Wrong thing.
A wrong think, exactly. So yeah, he is something.
So the first thing I have on my list of things to talk about has to do with something I asked James for his opinion on. Maybe he's ruminated on it since I asked him. So Andrew Tate, all right, he's British and American. He's a kickboxer. He's an influencer.
Oh, it's this thing that you sent me that I didn't watch.
Correct.
Okay.
You didn't watch it. It was a page. It wasn't
Oh,
a video.
I thought it was a video. See, I didn't even.
Here we go.
Now, you could put in links
Yeah.
to pages.
Oh, yeah, I know, but
Yeah.
I wasn't thinking it was a page because usually I get links to videos.
Because people
yeah.
want, here, watch this video.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Andrew Tate, he says women belong in the home, women can't drive properly, and women are a man's property. He also thinks that rape victims must bear responsibility for their attacks. He dates women that are 18 or 19 because he can make an imprint on them. And he poses with fast cars, guns, and he portrays himself as a cigar-smoking playboy. He talks about hitting and choking women, trashing their belongings, and stopping them from going out. So I sent this to James and I said, what's your thoughts on the ideas of Andrew Tate?
Yeah.
And he said no comment. I'm wondering if you have a comment now, Mr. Walker.
No.
This surprising.
Okay then. Are you asking for comments from the rest of us?
Who are you and what have you done with James?
I am a human being. I happen to be a woman. There are two kinds of human beings. There's men and there's women. And without both, we wouldn't have any future human beings. You know, we all get to make our own choices. If women choose to go out with this man, of course, he's picking on some really young ones who don't really know how to make decisions yet based on their age. These women need to, that's their choice. They've made a choice. They want to be with this, I don't want to say reckless. I think, you know, a man would be difficult to be a human being in the same room with the, you know, that so the women that go out with him, that encourage him in this line of thought, those are the women he should stick with. You know, he shouldn't try to find an intelligent woman. He shouldn't, because first of all, he doesn't even believe that women have intelligence if they can't drive right and shouldn't make their own decisions. I mean, so he will be only attracted to those women who fit the category that because stereotypes exist, because there are certain people that fit into those stereotypes. There are certain women who can't drive. There are certain men who can't drive, but you know, he wasn't. He's an idiot. That's what I'm trying to say.
So this thing about him controlling women, preventing them from leaving, he would brag about that. Now, that is a crime.
It's a crime, yeah.
And the authorities were looking for him. But the fact that he goes from country to country, they were having trouble finding him, so he could never be arrested. So this guy, Andrew Tate, was on Twitter, and he was making fun of Greta Thunberg. You know who that is?
Yes.
Okay. Do you, Greg, know who Greta Thunberg is?
So that's who I've heard about.
That's the the young girl who was talking against global warming. That really impassioned young girl that was on
No, I never heard of her.
TV. Yeah.
Tony, you heard of her?
Something came across Yahoo earlier about some Greta Thunberg in relation to a car. I didn't really get to see it because I was on the road, but I mean, I won't deny it aggravated me because I'm like, you know, it's got nothing to do with me right now. But I didn't know who she was. So now we're here. Definitely enlightened me.
So when she was like 14 years old, she started doing things like having a day at school, at her high school. And today is the day where we celebrate trying to keep global warming from stopping. Okay. And it got press locally, and then it got press internationally. And before you know it, she became so famous, she was giving talks at the United Nations. She's only 16 years old. She's giving talks to the United Nations. She's a really good speaker.
You know what? Yes. Now that you mentioned that, I had heard of her. It'd been a while, though.
So she's pretty much an international celebrity. So Andrew Tate was making fun of her on his Twitter page. So Greta Thunberg saw this, and she chimed in, and she started debating him on his Twitter page. All right?
Yeah.
During this debate, he said to her, excuse me, I didn't hear what you were saying. I was eating this delicious pizza in this box that I will not recycle in your honor. Okay?
Yeah.
Well, on that pizza box was the name of a pizzeria. Okay?
Oh.
Which meant you could tell where he was
was.
located by contacting the pizzeria and saying, did this person order a pizza from you?
Yeah.
It turns out he was in Romania.
Uh-huh.
And the Romanian police went and arrested him. And when that was made
Comeuppance.
when that was made public, Greta Thunberg posted, it just goes to show you should always insist on recycled pizza boxes.
Man, oh man, wow.
Oh, that's beautiful. That's,
What a kick in the dick.
that is a very, very that makes me, that gives me hope.
Why can it be this easy to take Trump down?
Oh, I don't. I'm done with him. I'm just done with him. Greg, did you have something you wanted
just saying.
to talk about? I know that
No.
This is like his every time response.
This is Greg, and then James. They're both they're kind of contra. So okay.
The reason why I have nothing to say on this subject is it would take too much to try to explain. And since that cannot be done in a précis, my answer is no comment.
Why don't you just give us a taste of it to
Yeah,
us?
James, I think, you know,
You just contradicted yourself. You had something to say.
Yeah.
I feel that this guy, it would be difficult to, what do you call it when you try to help out his cause? There's a word
Like an advocate.
Yeah, it'd be difficult to be an advocate for this guy. Come on, it would be difficult. You know, I mean,
As I said, it can't be done.
Yeah,
in a
even if you agree with some of his views, you got to admit he's kind of a prick. You know what I mean?
Even I gotta say, this guy's a real dick, man. I mean,
Yeah.
come on.
All right. Okay. So.
Even he would tell you that he's a dick.
Oh well, then you know I'd agree with him. See, I agree with him on something. All right. Okay.
His reply would be, because I'm a billionaire, people allow me to be a dick.
And it sounds very Trumpian, doesn't it? Because I'm because I'm rich, I can do it. I just grab them by the pussy. You know?
No. He
Idiots.
said because I'm famous, girls let you do anything. You can even grab them by the pussy.
Right. Yes. So anyway, I have another thing that Spinoza they were talking about with Spinoza. So he talks about this thing he calls Canada. Oh no, I can't pronounce it. I could pronounce it before I left the house. It's Conatus, Canadas, or will to live. And he talks about how people should only want to go toward the positive and stay away from the negative. And he said that will bring peace of mind and happiness. Now, it turns out that he was a big fan of the Stoics, which includes Aristotle. And Aristotle had this idea of eudaimonia. And so that was the one thing I had talked to you about on Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
And so this is what I wrote down about that. So it says Spinoza believes that we as humans should want. Spinoza believes that what we as humans should want to do is to organize our world so that we desire only those things that will cause us to prolong prolong our life cycle, or only those things that are good for us. Okay? He calls it our conatus, or will to live. This is almost a direct lift from Aristotle, who had developed this idea of eudaimonia, which was defined by Aristotle as virtuous activity in accordance with reason, or in simpler terms, only desiring what is good for you. This does not mean begrudgingly giving up smoking because you are aware it's good for you, but rather desiring not to smoke because reason tells you it's bad. So,
Well, that's against reality.
well, I know, but these are ideas, and even the philosophers will tell you couldn't 100% follow their own philosophy. They were just
'cause it's
ideas.
against reality.
So Aristotle says that this is the only true path to happiness.
well, that's,
If you could only desire what's good for you.
no, I mean you can be happy by having a happy mindset. You don't have to do things that you can be eating so-called wrong and have a happy mindset doing it. Therefore, you're happy.
Right,
That's
but
a
it's
true
not,
path to happiness.
Right, but it's not contributing to the well-being and longevity of your body and your.
No, I'm saying. I know what I'm saying is you could be, let's say, 15 years of you eating so-called wrong, and you're fucking happy because you're enjoying yourself, and then so you don't have the longevity because of the 15 years of eating badly, but you have 15 years of happiness.
But then
Which is really the key.
Yeah.
Because you'd better have 15 years of happiness eating so-called bad than eating good and being miserable.
But
Because
so you don't think that it
no, because
has-
the other part's against reality. The whole idea of you only going to want to do things that are good for you.
But you don't think there's any merit to the idea that by not doing something now you can increase your future happiness because you're going to be well and not end up in the hospital.
I'm saying
and,
it's better to enjoy yourself because you can die at any second from the time
that's
you're
true.
born.
You can.
So it's better to enjoy yourself as much as possible and not restrict yourself to what's good for you, because you can get that way you can, let's say you could get a nice 22-year gap of 0 to 22 rather than shitty 0 to 44.
I don't.
It's against reality to
But what
human
he's-
beings do not do what's good for them all the time.
Right, but what he's saying is logically.
Well, people aren't logical.
No, that's true. They're not. But this is a
They're
this
emotional
is
to the
a
max.
this is a philosopher. This isn't a.
Yeah, I know, but what I'm saying is his philosophy has no applicable real-world value because human beings are emotional fucks. They're not logical.
To
That's
quote the
whole
late
point-
Jim
that's the whole
Morrison,
point of Mr. What?
sorry, to quote the late Jim Morrison, I just want to get my kicks before the whole shit house goes up in flames. It's a general human emotion.
Yeah, of course. That's the reason Mr. Spock was created, because the whole idea of being logical rather than being emotional, the whole Vulcan thing is about being logical.
Yeah. So
But it doesn't go anywhere because it's just cute little philosophy, but it doesn't go anywhere because that's not how people are.
okay, so this is what he says about that.
Right.
It says, when your emotions control your actions, it affects not only you, but the people around you. Psychologists find that control over emotions can be gained by understanding the stimulus response patterns. So this applies to everything, our sad, fearful, annoyed, anxious, angry, stressful, hungry, passions, frustrated feelings about things are signals that something is affecting us in a negative way. That we are past, okay, so what he says is that when this happens, we should look at it logically and say, okay, I am pissed off at this person for saying this thing to me. However, would you be mad at a tiger for attacking you because he was hungry? No. So you have to look at it logically and say, this person, there's something wrong, there's something affecting this person that is making them attack me like this. And if I respond in kind, I am responding to my emotions, and I'm responding to, instead of using my logic and saying, this person's opinion or words cannot affect me because there's a reason for them doing it. There is a cause and effect there that I don't know about, but I'm going to just step back from that and not become emotional.
Yeah, that's against nature. People are emotional. They're not gonna be logically.
I know, but but human beings have reason. We can reason out.
Yeah, but the idea that you're going to be having people annoy the fuck out of you, and you're going to say every single time, "I am now using reason and logic, so that what they're doing will not annoy me."
Or you just avoid those. You avoid those people if they're doing it over and over again. But I mean,
no, I'm saying, day to day, when you go through life, and people are annoying you. No one has I have never seen anyone even close to having the ability to act like they think, I'm using my reason and my logic so that I'm not annoyed by this. People are fucking annoying constantly.
But okay, what about
the human condition is other people are annoying you and you're annoying them. That's the human condition.
How about this? When you say consider the source, somebody says something to you and you say consider the source, and the reason you're considering the source is you're looking at that person and trying to figure out why they would respond in that way, and I don't know. I think there's a higher humanity that can. I'm not saying I'm doing it or I can do it, but I am saying there's a goal. It's a goal to set, to be able to use reason to reason yourself out of these negative emotions.
Or you could just be mellow. You don't have to. You can just be mellow.
But isn't the mellowness part of being reasonable?
No, I'm just saying, if you have a mellow attitude, you wake up and you think I'm gonna be mellow. Then whatever people say to you it shouldn't affect you as much because you're mellow. You don't have to say I'm looking for what the causes of what they're doing, or I'm using my logic and reason. You're just being mellow. You just have a mellow frame point of life, and therefore you're gonna deal with people a lot better. Yeah. People don't get into a mellow frame point of life. They don't get in a mellow frame of mind. They wake up and they're uptight all day long, and they go to sleep and then they're uptight all day long.
Right. But
Am I wrong about that? Have you seen that through your whole life?
Yes,
and
right.
every human being?
You're right.
Including the people here, including James, including you and me.
But what I'm saying
uptight motherfuckers from morning till sleep.
I know, but if you could get them to use the reason and figure out why they're acting like this,
it doesn't matter why they're acting like that. It only matters how you are responding to it. If you figure out how the annoying person is.
No, I'm not. I'm saying that you don't have to understand why that person acted like that, but you do have to step back from it. Maybe what you're saying is agreeing with me, saying, well, you got to be mellow and you have to.
Yeah, but it doesn't have to be
not let
logical.
it affect you. But the thing is, you're using your logic to not respond use your emotions to respond to that in a
well, first of all, I don't think it's
angry way.
I don't think it's a bad thing to be annoyed or irritated or angry. That's natural. So all day long, people are angry, irritated, and annoyed by other people, and they're annoyed by you, and you're annoyed by them. You're annoyed at work. You're annoyed in your relationships. You're annoyed in friendships. You're annoyed in hobbies, things you do together, projects. Whenever you deal with people, you're annoyed at people, how they respond to your work. You put work out, and then you're like, they're not responding properly, so you're annoyed by that. Everyone is fucking annoyed, irritated, and angry every day of their lives.
But wouldn't it be a nicer, kinder, gentler world if we could all use our reason?
So wouldn't it be a nicer, kinder, gentler world if it was a different world? Well, that's your whole thing of Planet Paula.
Life is very short.
Your whole thing of Planet Paula
That's why I live on
and there's no
Planet
time for
Paula.
fussing and fighting, my friend.
You know for a fact that human beings are emotional fucks. They're annoyed, they're irritated, they're angry. They're upset with things are not going their way. This goes on.
It's such a waste of energy.
Well, a waste of energy. That's what life is. People are annoyed, irritated, upset, angry, frustrated, and fucked up. And you know that from your experience that everyone you know, including everyone here, Richard and Tony and me and James and yourself, are all fucked up. And anyone else who's been on the show is fucked up. Or anyone who's been here at the Home Future, anyone who's been on planet Earth is fucked up. You can extrapolate it all the way out from Cheektowaga to the United States to the whole damn
Timbuktu.
planet. Everyone is fucked up and angry and irritated and annoyed, and they all want things to go their way, and they don't go their way because other people will not. You can't have. You can never get one person to agree with the way you want them to be.
Well, no, because
They can't
you
get
can't,
one
because
fucking
you have
person.
to release your expectations of other people.
You can't get one fucking person to act the way you want
You
them to.
can't expect
You can't
anyone
get-
to do anything.
You don't act the way I want you to, even though we're married.
I know.
I don't act the way you want me to.
Release your expectations of me, and you'll be happier.
What do you mean? I have no expectations of you.
It's true. You pretty much let me run amok.
You run a buck. I just stare at you.
You're
run
very
amok
good
every
staring.
day. Every day you run amok, and then I just stare at you. Is that correct?
That's true.
Well, there
that
you go.
is
So I've
true.
already done that. But what I'm saying is, everyone is annoyed, irritated, and frustrated because they want things to go their way, and then they want everyone around them to act the way they want them to. And you can't get one fucking person to act the way you want them to 100% of the time. You can't get one fucking person to act the way you want them to 25% of the time. Who's kidding who? The most you can ask for is probably 10% of the time you get a person to act the way you want them to act.
I know, but that's
Maybe
not
10%. That's a good relationship.
shouldn't
You
be-
got a good relationship when it's 10 to 20% of the time they act like the way you want them to act.
It shouldn't be. It should
That's
not.
all. It shouldn't.
there should
Reality shouldn't be the
no
way it is.
Expectations. I'm saying this is philosophy. It's a goal. It's not
yeah,
a reality.
I'm just saying
it's a goal.
I'm just saying because we're discussing it, it's nonsense. It's a nonsense ideal. It's a nonsense ideal that sounds good and it has no application in real life.
Well, it's not a nonsense idea.
It's a nonsense ideal.
You'd be a lot
I
happier
like-
if you had a space family like mine.
I like
Exactly.
Okay, I like the ideas. I like ideas. Period.
I like. Are you trying? You know, I like ideas.
I know you do.
I love ideas.
I know you do.
I didn't say I didn't love ideas. I'm just saying this is a stupid idea. Because it has no application in real life.
It
It's
does.
It's totally
it has,
pointless.
People have used this, but look at.
Oh yeah, you could use it to a certain small percentage, of course, but you can never get anywhere near 100. You can try to use your reason and logic to create.
Even Marcus Aurelius said that.
Oh, even
you know,
Marcus Aurelius.
Why do
you say so?
He had expectations for himself, but he didn't meet those expectations. That they were ideals that he.
Well, caring is the
strove
root of all
for.
evil, Paula. Caring. Why do people kill other people? Because they care. If they didn't care, they wouldn't murder somebody. Why do people steal from other people? Because they care about the money they're getting or the objects they're getting. If they
I know,
didn't
but
care,
you're
caring is the root of all evil.
You're using the word care. I think there's probably a better word.
Okay, what's the root of all evil? It's not caring.
Because care, I think of as a positive thing.
Well, I mean caring about like when people. I care how people react to me and respond to me and act around me. That's what they care about. They want people to act the way they want them to act. Like if someone says, I like this, they want another person in their life, let's say their wife, you know, to agree. But when I command you to do stuff, you say, oh, that's funny. And then you don't do it. So why am I commanding you to do stuff? Because I want you to do things my way.
I know.
But you don't do it, though.
Because I don't have to live up to your expectations.
No, but I'm just saying you don't do it. I say I want something a certain way, and you say no, I don't want it that way. And we just move on. I'm like, okay. So 99 times out of 100, I say I command you, and you say no, thanks.
Well, but then again, I don't have expectations like that. I don't place expectations like that on you.
So if we didn't care, we wouldn't kill.
You always want me to be the way you want me to be, and I want you to be the way I want you to be. We both want each other to be the way. That's why we have probably like a 20% window where we're hitting it, where you're acting like I want you to, and I'm acting like you want me to. It could be like more than 20 or 30%, right?
I think I give you free reign.
No, but wait.
You just made me move my table today at the house in my own bedroom.
Because it was.
How is that free reign?
But let me backtrack a second. So if we didn't care, we wouldn't kill?
No, you would kill if you needed to eat. If you're going to eat the other person.
Oh,
But if you wouldn't kill a person just if you didn't care, you wouldn't say, "I'm going to murder this person with no
Wait,
caring."
you just gave me something better than Twinkie defense. Oh, I'm getting the van. I'll see you in the news.
Well, the thing is, the thing, I don't like the word care in this context.
No, we just use a different word then.
Yeah, but
What's the root of all evil? What do you think it is? The word is not
Money.
care. What is the word that you would use instead of care? Caring is.
expectations.
Expectations are the root of all evil.
What
yes!
about money?
Now I
Okay.
agree with that.
Okay, well, you
I'm
just,
on board.
You agree with yourself? You just said it. I didn't say it.
Well, I'm just saying, you said it and you back to me, and I agree with that.
But that's what you said. You agree with yourself. Yes, expectations are the root of all evil. I
Big
agree.
time.
We
Okay.
both agree about that.
All right.
Thank God we've worked it out.
Okay, good. Now we can move on.
Well, we can
Okay.
just stay in the same spot.
All right, so let's change the subject. We got some more stuff on your list there, Richard.
Yeah. If I could only get this thing to work, it would be cool, because then I could show you those drawings by Lori Lipton.
Oh, okay.
Let me see if...
I like to just hear your feelings, Richard, instead of going with Lori Lipton.
Oh, you'll hear
I'd like
mine.
to-
You will hear mine.
Yeah, I'd like to see the pictures.
Oh, how much time do we have left?
I don't know.
10 minutes.
Look at that, even his doesn't work. Huh. Can't show you the drawings then.
Well, maybe we should save that one for when Tom
Show
is
us a
here.
YouTube video instead. Can you show us a YouTube video?
No.
Insulin prices.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's interesting to me.
It was in the news. I don't know if you saw it. People were complaining to their representatives in Congress. They're saying every time we go get a new prescription for a bottle of insulin,
Yeah.
it's $99.
Yeah.
Yet the cost to the drug company is only $1.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
they're
it's-
making a
it's-
gigantic profit.
I can't believe
All
it.
right.
Gouging. That's so surprising.
Yeah, right.
So what they were doing is they were going to Mexico, right? And they were getting the exact same thing at a Mexican pharmacy for $10 a bottle.
I know someone who gets
thank
their
God.
medication for their diabetes from Europe. They order it. They order it from
I
Europe,
get my lithium from.
and it costs like a 1/100th of what it costs here.
So people were saying to Congress, put the brakes on pharmaceutical companies because we have a good argument here.
Yeah.
Biden made a campaign pledge. I will do that.
Yeah.
I will lower the price of insulin.
Yeah.
Now, this is very interesting what happened when he tried to do this, all right?
Mm-hmm.
He wrote a law
Yeah.
to be voted on in Congress that said the price is going to be lowered to $20 a prescription,
Yeah.
from 99 to 20.
Yeah.
So what happened is they started caucusing and debating it. That's when the pharmaceutical lobby got into the act, all right?
Yeah.
They knew they couldn't stop it from being passed,
Uh-huh.
but they wanted to modify it.
Okay.
So they started greasing palms, making campaign contributions. Would you be willing to vote for $30? Would you willing to vote for $35 instead of 20? Okay. So what they did is they had the law changed for, instead of 20, that it would be 35.
Mm-hmm.
But that wasn't enough for the
Oh yeah, because they were gonna lose a boatload of money on this deal.
So they had an amendment put into the bill stating this will only apply to people who are on Medicare and purchase insulin. Everybody else, it'll stay at $99. And that's how it passed.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah, no kidding.
It sucks
and that means that everybody who voted for that bill,
because a lot of those people don't even have insurance.
everybody who in Congress who voted for that bill can say to their constituents, I voted for the Inflation Reduction Act, which lowered your prices of insulin. What they don't say are the loopholes that were put in there.
So politicians are being scumbags? What a shock.
10 hell.
And price gouging by Big Pharma? What a shock.
Yeah.
That's standard practice, Richard.
We have
Still
That's
blows
standard
dead
practice every day.
goats.
Greed and corruption
The-
and political bullshit.
the insurance.
That's standard. That's what life is.
The insurance companies and the
Which
drug
sucks.
companies,
Yeah, they don't give a fuck.
they do not care. The only reason they care we live is so they can
But
sell
make the
us
money.
more drugs and make more money off of us. They
Well,
don't.
but that makes sense
they don't
because-
care about our well-being.
That makes sense, though. They shouldn't care about our well-being. They got to care about profits because that way they and the people they love, like their family members, are taken care of financially, and that's what they care about. You got to care about your people first,
Yeah, that's very cynical.
It's
It
all
is.
fun games for the motherfuckers till the tables turn.
I'm glad you noticed that. It is cynical. I was going to mention it was cynical. I wasn't sure if you would understand that, you know.
Oh, really?
But you caught it immediately.
Yeah, I
If prescription drugs were not a protected
No,
industry,
I mean, you got to take care of
Yeah,
number one.
let
People are-
let James finish what he was saying. You don't have your thing on. That's why you don't know what James is talking. Okay.
Well, James kind of fades out most of the time.
Okay,
so.
James, go ahead.
if prescription drugs were not a protective industry, they would be undercut in 30 days, and everybody would be paying $2, $5, $10.
Well, I mean, okay, I understand that there's a lot of research that goes into these drugs, and they do need to compensate themselves for the research. But I also understand that when that guy that took over that one company raised the price of an epinephrine pen from $99 to $600, and knew that all these people, and he just said it. He said, I don't care about that. I care about profits. I care about profits.
No.
That's all I care about.
Well, he was honest.
It takes a long time to write an orchestra, a symphony, or even a hit song. But darn it, nobody is saying that we need to compensate people for all of the research development that goes into learning how to play those instruments.
Yeah, you're right.
And putting together
That's a good
But
point.
it's the-
It's a good
but
point.
it's the same argument.
Well, it is, except that, like I am, I tend to take part in some of these studies, and there's a lot of money that goes into that when they're experimenting with these drugs on people. There's a lot of money that goes into that, and I can see that. But if it takes $1 to produce it and they're getting $100 back, there's something wrong with the system.
Well, of course, there's nothing wrong with the system. The system is like life itself. It's fucked.
I can
Life
remember.
is fucked up, and of course, the systems within life are fucked up because they're run by human beings. The systems, and
Human
beings
beings
are fucked up.
who are very, that's the thing.
Because you got to take care of number one.
That's why socialism could never really work properly, or communism. It's because people are greedy and they're motivated by greed, and it sucks.
Also, people
I'm
are
reading a book about that.
Yeah.
I can remember Heather Bresch. She was one of those big CEOs that was in the middle of the EpiPen scandal several years ago.
Mm-hmm.
I remember seeing her in a public, like a public address, some kind of thing, where she was whining that her company was just barely breaking even.
Oh.
Okay, let me tell you.
Yeah,
no,
that's
let me tell you
funny.
something. Okay, this bitch, this piece of fucking shit, was sitting there. The hairdo she had, the manicure, pedicure, dermacure, florocure, what the fuck cure, her power suit, her shoes, everything she had on probably cost, just for that appearance, probably several months worth of what I'd ever make as a goddamn truck driver hauling those EpiPens so people could even get them.
Yeah, I
And
agree.
okay, and she's just barely breaking even? No. The damn truck drivers who are hauling that shit for her are barely breaking even. We're the ones who are living in the ghettos and the slums now, not that piece of garbage.
Yeah, well,
Breaking even my
Standard,
ass.
Tony.
well, the thing.
That's standard. Ultra rich people are taking the hide out of the
Yeah, well, I'll
poor
tell you
people
what.
and the middle class. If they're-
I got a message to you pigs, man. You are no fucking more of a god than I am. You think you're some kind of a god? Come down here and face me. I'll teach you a lesson. You'll come here on your feet. I'll make you crawl on your belly.
Well,
Yeah.
Paul likes
Well,
an intellectual approach to the
yeah.
show, Tony.
Yeah, the violence, the violent stuff, I'm not really into. But the thing is,
No.
the problem with these people is that they are not, they don't have the empathy to see it from the other point of view. They can't. It's like that time we talked about one of the presidents who actually went, with the guy, Teddy
How much
Teddy
empathy
Roosevelt.
are
Teddy
we supposed
Roosevelt.
to have for
Well,
pigs?
well, Teddy Roosevelt went to the houses where the kids were making cigars. With not only kids but the families were making cigars, and he saw how the people lived, and he had nothing to compare that to because he had lived a life of privilege. So when he saw that, and they realized that people were making $1 a day for the whole family, it gave him a sense of empathy because he saw it for himself. But how many rich people are willing to do that, to go down into the dregs and see how people live, and
Well, they're not going to want to because it's painful.
well, right, and it's like they
I mean,
don't.
If you had a chance to have a pleasurable, ultra rich person's life, or go down the dregs, why would you? It's like it's a hard thing to ask them to drag themselves down to the dregs of society.
Well, because they don't want to take responsibility for the
But they
fact-
created the dregs.
Right, exactly.
Well, yeah,
They look at
created- and
themselves.
They created dregs and they're perpetuating the dregs, but to actually have to deal with see the dregs in person,
Yeah, it's too.
it's too painful. And of course, you, as a human being, you gravitate towards your comfy, ultra rich lifestyle rather than go to the dregs. Why would you ever want to do that if you were in that position?
Yeah, God
Like
forbid.
anyone who's been in that position, especially since his birth, like Donald.
Okay, so everybody, goodbye. This was a very animated discussion. Welcome.
The wealthy look at it this way: somebody's going to wash my car, and it's not going to be me.
Well, I'm not wealthy, and I take my car to the car wash. There's something to be said for conservation of energy. Okay, all right, thank you.
But you don't have a problem with the people washing your car getting paid.
Oh no, and I give them a tip, which the rich people don't. Okay, all right. So thank you, everyone, and I think we're off the air.
I'll go turn us off.
Okay, thanks. Anyone who's ever depended on tips for a living knows to tip well.
And the rich person would